I'm blue every Monday, thinking over Sunday, that one day when I'm with you. It seems that I sigh all day Tuesday, I cry all day Wednesday, my oh my, how I long for you. And then comes Thursday, gee, it's long and never goes by. Friday makes me feel like I want to die. But after payday, that's my fun day. I shine all day Sunday, that one day when I'm with you. Saying that I'm blue every Monday, I'm thinking over Sunday, that one day when I'm with you. It seems that I sigh all day Tuesday, I cry all day Wednesday, my oh my, how I long for you. And then comes Thursday, gee, it's long and never goes by. Friday makes me feel like I want to die, no lie, no lie. After payday, that's my fun day. I shine all day Sunday, that one day when I'm with you. That one day when I'm with you. Thank you.
Once again, I'm Cheryl Welsh-Charrier, your platform assistant. We have Reverend Karen Gray on board this morning, taking us on a journey, and the amazing Wayne Wilentz. It is time for our centering prayer. This is a Sanskrit proverb. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lies all the realities and verities of existence, the bliss of growth, the splendor of action, the glory of power. For yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. And so it is. Amen.
Good morning, everybody, and thanks for having me back. And going to do a, if we live here in Washington, D.C. area, you have to do Duke Ellington's music as much as possible. So I'm going to do probably one of my favorite Duke Ellington pieces. It's called In a Mellow Tone, and the message is there for everybody. Don't forget, do everything mellowly, and you'll be in great shape. In a mellow tone, feeling fancy free, and I'm not alone, I've got company, everything's okay, the livelong day, with this mellow song, I can't go wrong. In a mellow tone, that's the way to live. If you mope and groan, something's got to give. Just go your way and laugh and play. There's joy unknown in a mellow tone. Mellowly, mellowly, mellowly. Whatever you say to me, try and say it mellowly. Mother Nature sings for every single little ear. Be certain the notes you choose to play sing a melody nice to hear. But if you really want to roll a crowd, why holler out loud and hooping and hollering and yelling and screaming to say nothing never, meaning nothing never. Just retain your poise, make a pretty noise. Plenty pretty music I've known was in a mellow tone. You'll dig what's happening to me if you break down and listen to me. So and easy and mellow and breezy and right, just right. A song of love and love alone. We're singing our song in a mellow tone with a feeling of our own. Oh yeah. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. This is a different setup today. I'm over here at Wayne's house, and we're having to do things like turn off sound and stuff so that we don't have interference. But anyway, I'm here with you also. And I would like to take you with me on a journey. And that's a quote from Reverend Lafayette Seymour. It was 2003, and I wish I could remember the particular journey that he took us on that day. I'm sure it was wonderful. Of course, he took us on many journeys. But that day, I was mostly paying attention to the opening line because I was a newly ordained minister, and I started wondering, how do you do this? I had listened to so many sermons, but I didn't know, how do they open? How do they start? Do you say, ladies and gentlemen? Do you say, once upon a time? So I started really listening, and that's what I heard. I'd like to take you with me on a journey. And as I was listening to different ministers, trying to figure out, what is this role now? How do I do it? I went to one really wonderful interfaith service, and another new minister was speaking that day. And I was watching her, and she was really forceful and really dynamic and had a big voice and a big presence. And I thought, oh man, I can't do that. What am I going to do? And then eventually I realized, oh, she doesn't have, the right way. She just has her way. And it was only her way that particular day. I don't know if she changed. I don't know her. I don't know how her own journey went along. Maybe more Bible waving, maybe less Bible waving. Whatever it is, I realized that it could be her own. So I can't even track my own journey, but I've been thinking about tracking our journey as a community. I got some help in this a few weeks ago. We had some unity history, and Gary and Anna and Kaywood shared some things about their unity journeys. And Gary in particular took us on a journey through the years of this institution, meeting at various locations with different leaders and leadership structures. We've really been through a lot. And the church will have a birthday this Tuesday. Community on the Hill was established July 27th, 1994. And that's when Community on the Hill started its journey. And, years ago, Lafayette used to marvel that we all held together so well as an organization, as a spiritual community, without having a traditional leadership structure. And I am sure he is proud of us now from his higher perspective as he sees today, here we are. Wherever we go, here we are, through all kinds of changes. And today's daily word is journey. And the affirmation in the daily word booklet is, my life's journey begins and ends in the heart of God. And as soon as I read that, I knew that it was about us, about this community. We have taken many, many steps. And each time we take a step, we might find ourselves somewhere new, but we are continually arriving at the heart of God. Kay Wood's affirmation, I believe Kay Wood modifies the affirmation for us. And it's something like, the heart of God is present everywhere. And that's kind of all we need to know. That's why we are always at home with all the changes, all the places, all the different looks and feels, and even a different name. We are never not at home. We use a lot of affirmation statements in Unity and in our community. And Eric Butterworth defined an affirmation as synchronizing our consciousness with the reality of truth. Synchronizing our consciousness with the reality of truth. The reason we've been fine wherever we've landed is because we have kept on synchronizing our consciousness with the reality of truth. At every step, we find ourselves in the heart of God. So, yes, I want to take you with me on a journey, and the journey is just to here, to where we are, to the heart of God, the center of divinity. That's what we're after. I first came to Community on the Hill back when we met at the Cathedral School. It was 2003. And almost 20 years later, I still sometimes feel like a newcomer because we have such a solid foundation and so much history that was already established by the time I arrived. And it continues to be solid, and it continues to inform who we are. And through all the changes we've seen, that foundation of values still works. So even when I feel like a newcomer, I always feel like a very welcome newcomer. I'm always delighted to have arrived. And all of those who have come much more recently are just so valued and such a necessary part of our community, because we're here and the moment is now. And in that moment, what we have is what we need, what we count on, and what we choose to be, and what we celebrate. So today's message with the daily word of journey, I just want to focus on that. The journey is here, the time is now, the direction is inward. And can't we just take a moment to celebrate ourselves? Looking back through a year and a half that has been nothing less than traumatic and disruptive to the max. And not only did we manage to get together, thanks to the magic of Zoom and the magic of Jan, we also managed to be home together, to recreate and maintain this shared, beautiful, spiritual home. Even in a time of isolation, stuck at home, we've continued our journey together. And the direction we travel is inward. Somehow I was led to pull down this book. It's called A Month of Sundays. I hadn't picked it up off my shelf probably in 10 years or more. The book was written in 2005. It's called A Month of Sundays, Searching for the Spirit and My Sister. And the author is Julie Mars. She traveled miles and miles, visiting 31 different places of worship over the course of 31 weeks. She had previously never found much reward in religion. But at this time, she was grieving the death of her sister. And this was her way of exploring the experience of faith in the most profound moments in life. This was her journey. She visited, it was 31 weeks. It seems like she went everywhere, starting with Baptist, why not? then Baha'i, Unitarian, Quaker, Greek Orthodox, I mean, just on and on and on. She visited a Zen temple, Scientology, Unification. Well, I was really happy to see that she made her way to Unity of Montreal. A friend recommended it to her, calling it an alternative church. Her friend told her how to find the location, because this is before we had, just plug it into your phone. And the author writes this, quote, "She provides precise directions, including which traffic lane to be in at crucial moments. This is the kind of directions I like, the kind I give. I like knowing the best place to be every second, exactly what landmarks to expect, how many miles it is from one point to another." Her friend gave her that. How often does life give us that? We may think we are following precise directions, but then we might discover that we do not know the best place to be every second, but we try. So she checks out the Unity Church, and it sounds like a place where we might all feel at home. She says, quote, "The mood is jubilant, as if many friends have run into each other by happy accident." And then she says that the message focused on positivity, potential, and peace. The lesson that day is on the power of the phrase, "I am." So yeah, it sounds like us. But what's missing is what maybe she couldn't grasp in a single visit, and that is that we are not just here for pleasant platitudes. We are here with each other through the tough stuff too. We don't pretend them away. I have a good friend who has never been to Unity, but he told me, "Oh, Unity, my aunt always went to Unity. Those people are so happy." And he was very sincere in saying it, but I worry sometimes that it can seem like we're just sitting around smiling all the time. I mean, we're not happy in Unity simply because everything is going great, or because we keep saying that it is. Our happiness is based in truth, not rainbows. The truth of our divinity and our unity with spirit and all that is. And that means being absolutely present with the challenges as well as with the joys. And we do that for ourselves, and we do it with one another. We share and practice tools to keep us on a well-lit path where we find the guidance that we need. And when we struggle, there is no judgment. There's no sense of shame that we're doing it wrong. We find support. We know we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and that human experience is no joke. We struggle sometimes, and then we come together for support and encouragement and reminders. And maybe the author does get it, because she wraps up the summary of her visit describing that they all stand in a big circle at the end and sing, "Let there be peace on earth." And she says, "All around the room there are happy, smiling, singing people. I am singing too, but tears drop from the ends of my eyelashes. I don't wipe them away. I am an important part of the peace circle, and I simply can't let go." I'm so glad she found unity on her journey. And I'm so glad that we all found unity on our journeys. And here we are on our journey, finding God and being willing to be found by spirit, to be found by spirit, to be found by wisdom, to be found by oneness and understanding. I try to be open, and I find value in lots of schools and teachings, including sometimes I look at tarot cards. Mine look like this. They're round. My sister gave me this mother piece deck, which is very feminist and uses a lot of artwork that is heavily influenced by Native American and African influences. And when Dorothy was little, she would ask me, she would see me sitting with these cards spread out, and she'd say, "What do these mean? What do these mean?" And I said, they don't necessarily mean anything. They just help me find a new way of thinking about something. And I haven't come up with a better explanation, so I'll share that one with you. And I am not a tarot expert, but I'm familiar with something called a life card. Each of us has a life card. Mine is the number 7, the Chariot. And you find your life card by adding up the digits in your birthday. I don't know if you know, I'm sure some of you know that Reverend Seymour, he was pretty into numerology. It'd be pretty fun. He would just start throwing out some interpretation of something. So here's a little numerology in tarot. So you add up the digits in the birthday, and that gives you the number that corresponds with the card. And that card tells you, it suggests, represents key values, experiences, and lessons that the person's life is going to feature. So I looked up the life card for Community on the Hill, birthday, 7/27/1994. And I came up with number 13, the Death card. And in case you are not familiar with tarot, I want to quickly explain that the Death card is an auspicious card, and it is rarely, if ever, associated with actual physical death, but it does represent culmination, change, letting go, and regeneration. So I'll ask Jan now to bring up the slide that she couldn't believe I was asking her to include in today's program. So the Death card, you may see, okay, there's a skeleton. Sounds like death. Oh, but notice that the skeleton is in a fetal position, getting ready for rebirth. Also see the snake. Now, a lot of us are really not into snakes. We don't like snakes. But this one, as you see, is in the process of shedding its skin. It will emerge as a renewed self. And this represents deep fundamental change, releasing a core aspect of the self, shedding old skin, which has served its purpose. And when it's time to let go, there might be resistance, there might be grief, there might be resentment. It's not easy. But there is the revelation of something new. And for heaven's sake, how many times have we done that? I know we've all done it in our personal lives, but this is the card for this community. Oh, Jan, if you haven't already, you could take down that slide. This is the card for this community. And how many times have we been regenerated, reemerged as something new? So I just wanted to share that with you. So someday we will all meet on our Sunday mornings back in the same room together, like at the picnic a couple of weeks ago, which was so wonderful. Like the rest of the world, we're wondering about reopening. And I keep thinking of a slightly different word, rehopening. We cannot simply reopen because we never closed. Not even for a day, I don't think. We didn't let a global pandemic slow us down. And we found out we can gather in a circle without holding hands. And we can share fellowship without brewing coffee. And we can be together on our journey no matter how many different zip codes we occupy at the same moment. So we're not reopening, but rehopening. I don't know, maybe, why not? Something to think about, to rearticulate, to redefine, to reaffirm who we are, what we want, what we seek, why we are on this journey, on our spiritual journey. Look at the line, or listen to the line that I found just looking at our website. In every challenge, in every experience, we receive another opportunity to remember that God is at work, and I am guided perfectly always. For heaven's sake, we have kept going. And in the hardest times, some things even got better. For instance, I had tried for years to have my buddy Wayne provide special music for us, and he would always remind me that he couldn't because he had a long-standing Sunday brunch gig at Georgia Brown. But the pandemic changed that, and now this good friend of mine is with us, and our community has gained a wonderful new friend. So, there are a lot of silver linings, and in that, in countless ways, we have an opportunity to remember that God is at work. After all, what is God? God is power, perfection, peace, divine love. God is the one presence. And in all matters, We are perfectly guided, and that's true for us as a whole, and it's true for us as individuals. So if you, the individual, if you can, think of a particular situation in your life, something that worries or troubles you, if you can. I can. I can think of something. I am so worried right now about my 89-year-old stepfather and his worsening dementia. And I am so worried about my mom who's working so hard to look after him. It's a complicated situation, and I feel a lot of complicated emotions. And maybe I need a reminder. Lafayette used to say he was here as a reminder, but he's not here with us in physical form anymore. But he's here in so many other ways. And you, my unity community, are now my reminder. With your help, I remember that God is at work, even in this situation. I am reminded that oneness of spirit is the truth. And if I can get my brain to hush up, and I think I can, I will find that I am perfectly guided. And I know that, and there's peace there. Because when we remember that, then we remember that we are in the heart of God. So if you can relate, if you have anything that worries or troubles you, let's just affirm together that God is at work. And let's allow that we be perfectly guided and be reminded to shake off the tension and the worry and the struggle. I'm inviting you to do this right now in this very moment, because we are here right now in this very moment. This is the eternal truth. This is the way forward. This is the journey, and the direction is inward. I just wanted to take you with me on a journey, and I want to thank you for bringing me along on yours. And this is the journey so perfectly described in the affirmation in today's daily word. My life's journey begins and ends in the heart of God. No wonder we always feel at home. As we affirm together every week, wherever we are, God is. And it's true, always and forever. Now, Lafayette used to appreciate a Charles Fillmore line on the topic of truth, because Fillmore, along with his many wisdom statements, he also said, I reserve the right to change my mind. Evolution, reemergence, renewal, rediscovery. We are so good at this. Our spiritual understanding is forever taking shape. But what remains constant? What remains constant in all this change? Okay, here's some more words from Eric Butterworth. And I think I got these from Spiritual Economics. He says, when you build a consciousness of love and justice and friendliness and peace, you no longer look for or identify with any apparent enmity or injustice in others. You actually walk in a magic circle of protection. You draw the best kind of people to you, and you draw the very best from all the people with whom you associate. I think he's describing our journey together. Let's take a moment in meditation. Find yourself comfortable, relaxed, and alert. Find that even as you're relaxed, somehow your head, your neck, your shoulders are uplifted. They're drawn up, lifted up in a spirit connection. You might even find a beam of light that comes down from way up above, beyond what you can see, right down to you, through your crown, through your torso, energizing you, enlightening you. Allow that. Your spirit connection. And as you're seated, or even if you're standing up or lying down, you feel the support beneath you. Right? You've got this up high spirit connection, And you're supported by the chair. The chair is supported by the floor. The floor is supported by the foundation of the house. All of this held solid on the ground. You are securely held. You are securely held. Beneath the ground, down, 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 to the center, where we find the beating heart of God. You are supported by the beating heart of God. Your journey ends where it began, in the heart of God. At every step, you are there. Always. You can't get away from it. You are in the heart of God. Take a moment to know that. Take a moment to know that you are a part of the one power and the one presence. You are a precious part of it. You are a beloved part of it. You are an essential part of it. And you might allow these next words of mine to be your own. I am at home on my journey and in my community. I allow myself to be perfectly guided, knowing there are many paths to peace and fulfillment. I am one with all creativity, abundance, and love. Even when the world is immersed in darkness, I go forward in faith and light. I release doubt and embrace faith. Worries may come and go, but every day, truth calls on me. My life's journey begins and ends in the heart of God. I find myself now in the heart of God. And so it is. And I invite you to gently open your eyes. Notice that all is well. Notice that you are here in your present physical space. Notice that you are here with your loving community and that we would not be complete without you. And so it is. Amen.
The dawn is filled with dreams, so many dreams. Which one is mine? One must be right for me. Which dream of all the dreams? When there's a dream for every star, and there are oh so many stars, so many stars. The wind is filled with songs, so many songs. Which one is mine? One must be right for me. Which song of all the songs? When there's a song for every star, and there are oh so many stars, so many stars. Along the countless days, the endless nights that I have searched, so many eyes, so many hearts which one to choose, which way to go. How can I tell? How will I know? Out of so many stars, so many stars. Nights that I have searched, so many eyes, so many hearts, so many smiles. Which one to choose, which way to go? How can I tell? How will I know? Out of so many stars, so many stars. How will I know? Out of so many stars, so many stars. Out of so many stars, so many stars.
I'm leading today's offering blessing, but some of the things that Karen Gray just said really made me think. Made me think a lot. Karen, thank you. I'm here to lead our offertory blessing, and an image that came to me recently that I'd like to share with you, I think will help today, for us to think about prosperity and what that means. I thought about an hourglass. You've seen an hourglass. It's a traditional object that has sand that goes from one chamber to another, often used to measure time. When you think about the sand in the hourglass, that sand can represent prosperity, represent wealth. And think about it. When you invert the hourglass, the sand that is at one chamber slowly trickles out into the bottom chamber. It never leaves the hourglass. It simply moves from one chamber to another. And if you let it all go out to the second chamber and then invert the hourglass again, what happens? Everything just goes back to the other chamber. It never leaves the hourglass. And I think that's a good representation of prosperity and wealth and even things like satisfaction. You don't ever have to let go or believe that your prosperity is finite or temporary or in any way dismissible. Your prosperity is always with you. Like so many things, it can depend on circumstances, but can also depend upon your frame of mind. So when I'm feeling like I don't have a lot of prosperity in my life, or I don't have a lot of wealth or resources, I try to focus on the fact that indeed wealth and prosperity is a concept. It cannot be depleted. Sometimes just thinking about it and believing in it can cause it to be attracted to me. So let's think about that. When you have wealth, or you lose wealth, or you give wealth away, it can come back. You can recreate it because there's always enough. Always enough. That's part of our belief, right? In our minds, we take the idea of what we need and we manifest it into substance. That's a unity principle. So never believe that you don't have something. One of my favorite lines from a movie, Babette's Feast, is simply, an artist is never poor.
Our closing prayer this morning. This is Charles Fillmore's Invocation. I am now in the presence of pure being and immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I acknowledge thy presence and thy power, O blessed Spirit. In thy divine wisdom now erase my mortal limitations, and from thy pure substance of love, bring into manifestation my world, according to thy perfect law. And so it is.